Well, I guess that's not going to work. I was hoping that would work out. It is and it isn't. So, hi guys. Here I am from the El Rancho Hotel. As you guys know, we found this place on our way back from LA a couple of weeks ago. I am in the same room because I really loved it. This is the only room here, aside from the John Wayne suite, that has a private pool entrance in the back. It also has its own private little sunroom, etc., etc. But if you guys would like to see that, you'll have to come back at 8. I'll be taking you guys on a tour of the El Rancho later this evening. However, right now, let's do some card pulls. Yeah, just short, sweet, quick. What the fuck do you need to know? I already have a few people on my list, so I'm going to go ahead and start reading. I am streaming live on YouTube. So if for some reason you do miss yours, no big deal. And TikTok, I love you. I'm going to have to move you down here because my computer's being an asshole. My computer's being an asshole. This is what it is. So you guys get to sit right there. So here we go. I'm going to go through these kind of quickly so I can get to everybody on my list. There are still a few tickets available. Depending on how I get through my list, then I may add some more. But as of right now, there are just a few left. Okay, so I have Miss Catherine Mazzell on first, and I'm going to be splitting my time between YouTube and TikTok here. So that's what's up. I am wonderful, guys. How are y'all? So if you guys get just a one card pull, it's just going to be probably from this deck so I can determine what is going on in your life right now. A 3 card pull will be from all 3 decks. And then half the damn deck. Catherine, you got half the damn deck. Thank you. I appreciate that. Of course, that came out whopper job. Interesting. All right, well, you're throwing cards at me, Catherine. Okay, you ready, girl? So you start off with Lilith, which is, in this case, hunger. It's moving forward. It's a need. It's wanting something, okay? Then you have the Hunter, which fell out like this. It flung out at me. Notice that it's whopper jawed. Not quite sideways. Whopper jawed. Then you had these 2 that just fell out upside down. This is Ancestral Wisdom and Joy, music. So both of those are upside down. Right now, Miss Catherine, this, just looking at these, is a lot of... I'm trying to decide of the right word to say. And I want you to notice the card colors. Dark. Gets a little lighter, trying to hold them the right way. Gets a little lighter, lightest. This right here speaks of need and not following what your gut's telling you to do. It also talks about losing your inspiration. Thank you, love. It talks about losing your inspiration. Something right now in your life has got you feeling like you're in a constant battle to win. The problem with it is you're forgetting the things that you've already known, the things that you've already learned from life in general, from ancestors, from your parents, from your siblings, friends, etc. You've already forgotten all of this. And it's taking your instinct, your inspiration away. So what I would recommend, thank you, Miss Wendy. What I would recommend on this, love, is to let go of this need to win in this situation. Because these 2 right here, it tells me that you're trying too hard to be the winner in the situation. Sometimes you have to look at the whole war and not just the current battle that you're in. The current battle that you're in is like this. The war is like this. It's not worth this battle. It's not worth of being the winner in this particular battle. Does that make sense? So get back to what your gut says. Get back to this ancestral wisdom. And don't feel like you have to be the winner in this situation. Okay? Does that make sense? So I had a little birdie tell me, you're welcome, Miss Kathy. I had a little birdie tell me that some of you guys have been asking for past life readings. Am I correct? Is that little birdie correct? Miss Christine Carver, are you ready? So I will tell you guys, if you are watching on YouTube, I'm going to apologize in advance because I cannot see comments right now because I have YouTube and my site going at the same time. So that way I can do tickets. Thank you, Miss Kathy. I love the feathers. I love the feathers. I love the feathers. So, I see a lot of people saying yes. Well, I decided to do two things, one this Friday and one next Friday. This Friday, there are going to be limited tickets for both of these, okay, guys, because they both wear me out. This Friday, like in 2 days, I just need one. Christine, I keep trying to pull like 6. That was still 3. You have too much going on. You have way too much going on, Christine. This Friday, I'm going to be doing mini past life reads. Still pulling 2. If it pulls 2 again, I'm just going to go with it. There we go. This Friday, I'll be doing mini past life readings. I'm only going to do a small number of them, okay? So if you guys would like a ticket for one of these, you need to go get one like ASAP. Next Friday, the 23rd, I will be doing astrological reads for the origins of your soul. So these are starseed / soul origin readings. You do not have to know what time you were born for these, okay? Just your birthplace and your birth date. That's it. Because your ascending sign does not matter. In these, I'm looking at numbers. All right. There are a very small number of those too. So if you guys would like a ticket for that, you better get it ASAP. All right. Miss Christine Carver, here you go. So you have the Morrigan, which is the Master of Fate. In this particular instance, this is opposition, okay? Then you have the Drum. And then you have Straddling Worlds. This is literally walking both sides of the line. So what this is telling me, what's going on in your life right now, this Drum. Let's talk about the Drum first. Then we'll talk about the other two. This Drum, you're being called to do 2 things at the same time. Literally 2 things at the same time. The problem with this is it's causing you to feel split. You're walking both sides of the line and literally trying to straddle it and do this at the same time. And it's not working because it feels like your legs, your feet are getting further and further apart. Eventually you're going to fall. The problem is it's causing you to feel a ton of opposition with yourself and with people around you. It is also causing a great deal of introspection on your part. This introspection is pulling you into, I would bet, probably a pretty interesting place. I would bet a very interesting place. You're going to have to pick which side you want to walk. You can walk both, but you need to do them one at a time. And right now, I think that you feel like both sides are equally important. They have to happen now. The problem is they can't physically happen now anymore. Whereas up to now, you've been able to straddle them, but it's like that line is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You're not going to be able to keep doing both things at the same time. So you need to choose one or the other. This is going to sound weird, but I feel like you need to choose the right side. I don't know why. I feel like the left side is a little too dark for right now. And the reason I said that is because I feel like when I'm talking about 2 sides of the same line here, you literally see them. One is here and one is here. Like for some reason you associate a space with them. One is here on this side. One is here on this side. You need to take the one that you feel is on your right side of your body, whereas the left one That one right now is a little too much. It's a little too dark. You need to work through this right side first before you work through that. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to get so stretched that you're going to fall flat on your face. And I love you, and I don't want that to happen. So, so I'm glad you understood what I was saying when I was like, you need to take the one that you feel is on your right side. Once you get further down the path on your right side here, the left side, it's going to be easy cheese. Okay. Okay. So I hope that helps, Miss Christine. For those of you guys asking about candles, I have them done. And well, for the most part, I'm still working on some of the full moons. I have them done. However, I've had shit service today. Even on Highway 40. Thank you, Miss Christine. So I will be getting them to my ladies tonight and tomorrow because I have good service this evening, knock on wood. And I know I will have fantastic service tomorrow evening and the rest of the weekend until Monday. So you guys will be getting all of those by Monday, okay? All right, Miss Laura Cardella. So I have 2 for you. Are you wanting 6 cards or are you wanting 2 different readings? I don't know if you're here or not. Hopefully you are. You're welcome, love. I just saw your question go by. I was like, let me answer that real quick. My girls can send them, but they have to have them to send them. And yeah. 6 cards. Gotcha. So I will say I do have some card readings up. Okay. Not card readings. Excuse me. Candle readings up. I'm going to start doing them certain times of the month because I don't have a lot of traveling after this. Okay. And after my trip to Portland and Seattle. In fact, after my trip to Portland and Seattle, that's it. I don't have any other traveling except a 1-day event in Oklahoma City. So I can start doing these things during the phases of the moon that they need to happen on. If you guys are members of the site, you will get first dibs for tickets for these things. I'm just letting you guys know. You cannot make this shit up. Okay. You ready, Miss Lori? So I drew 2 lines. Okay. You're going to know exactly who these 2 lines are when I start reading them. One is you. One is someone else in your life that's very important. The 1-day event in Oklahoma City is the Oddities and Curiosities Expo. So for the rest of the year, guys, Vegas, Portland, Seattle, and Oklahoma City, those are all Oddities and Curiosities Expos. They are just 1-day events. I will not be doing readings at them, which is why I only had like a couple people that signed up, and those are the only readings I'm going to be able to do because we learned the hard way that we get slammed. And with only 2 of us, it is almost impossible for me to do readings and get everything done that I have to do. I'm reading here. Let's go. So there you go. However, I will be doing more readings here online. Okay. All right. Miss Lori. So this is your side. You ready? So you start off with Nyx, which is in this case, seeing the darkness, seeing in the darkness, both at the same time. Then you have the Hunter. And then you have straddling between realms. I love when I go up in altitude because then my brain's like, and now you can't words. So for those of you guys that have never watched me read, you don't know who I am or whatever. Hi, my name is Bodhi. I have temporal lobe epilepsy. So any shift in pressure makes my words not work correctly. I am not drunk. I am not having a seizure. I promise. It fucks with my brain because my seizures start over here on the left side. This is where your memories and your word bank is. So, So just laugh with me at myself and let's go on about our business. It's going to happen repeatedly tonight. I'm just letting you know it's going to happen repeatedly. Okay. Sometimes it's funny and sometimes I'm like, I did not really say that. I did say that. Okay. So on the other side over here, Lori, you have Lilith, which is the thief of life. And this is hunger and necessity and need. And then you have the eagle. And then you have grace and generosity. This is the benefactor card. So I do want to point out that she doesn't have wings, but wings, 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 wings. All but these two cards have wings. Just letting you know. Now, they're not all one particular bird or etc. Two of them are birds, eagle, hawk. Then these two have wings. These are people that have wings. Over here, it's literally just the wings. I can't tell what it is, but I wanted to point them out because there's a lot of them. On your side right now, you're seeing way too much of the darkness. You're in it. Like you're literally in it. I kind of feel like you're already in mourning in a way. Does that make sense? Not only are you already in mourning in a way, but you're trying to do everything you can to straddle between being here and being in this mourning and this preparation and so on. So all the cards over here on your side, they're darker, like the colors. Okay. They're darker, meaning that you almost can't pull your mindset out of there. The numbers over here also are mainly odd numbers there's 2 twos, but 27, things like that. They're mainly odd numbers, telling me that you're at odds literally with yourself right now. So over here, this person on this side, this is somebody that has a humongous bravery line in them. They're very strong. They're very hard-headed. They're very firm in what's going on around them. And I said it that way for a reason, because I feel like this is probably your husband. I feel like they used to be very firm physically and everything, and now they're pretty firm in emotionally, mentally. Does that make sense? So there is a need and instinct in this other person. A lot of it is protection. They have a need to protect you, to protect things around them. Like they can't let go of that need. I'm just going to let you know that grace and generosity, that benefactor card, do not be surprised if they start giving things away. If it hasn't already started, they're going to start giving things away because that is their way of protecting those around them. Okay. So what's interesting is when I laid these out, like I laid them out kind of like this so they would fit on the table. These things are, as your colors are dark over here, his get lighter. It starts super dark, medium dark, light. He's getting lighter. I'm not sure the best way to explain that. It's almost like acceptance, whereas you're trying to change the situation. The two of you have to see eye to eye here. You have to see eye to eye here. He needs to see your need to change it and help you change it. And you need to see his acceptance and accept a little bit as well. Does that make sense? I think you already know what's coming and he already knows what's coming. So y'all need to have a deep sit down talk about this. Y'all need to have a very deep, intense sit down talk about this. Because right now you're here and he's here. And you guys need to be here. Y'all need to be like that. And for some reason with you straddling this line, it's like it's doing this. And I don't think either of you want that. So go in there, sit down, have a chit chat, continue to have chit chats and talk about all of this deep stuff. So, because on his side over here, the numbers are all 3, divisible by 3, etc. Meaning he's in balance right now. I know it doesn't seem like it, but he is. He is in balance right now. So, there you go, love. Does that help at all? I have a feeling this is just kind of confirmation. You already knew this. think you already knew this. Just confirmation. Y'all, thank you for the compliments about my hair. This was a happy little accident. And yeah, you're welcome so much, Lori, honey. All right. So next, is it Rocio? Am I saying it right? Rocio? I know I'm saying that wrong. Mondragon. Let me just do that. All right. So don't forget, guys, these are on YouTube. So if you miss your reading, no big deal. And if you guys would like to come and tour the El Rancho with me later, I will be right back on here at 8. So I'm going to get through all of these readings. Then I'm going to take a quick break. I already ate dinner in the restaurant down there. So yum, yum. Okay, well. Apparently you're getting one more card than normal, and I don't even get to draw from that deck. So here we go. All righty. My Mondragon friend. Here you go. You start off with the caretaker of the lost, which is gathering in the misfits. It's calm. It's protection. Then you have these, and they came out like this, okay? On the top, you have the smoky mirror. This is you really starting to see the shadow side of what you've been going through, where you've been going, why you've been going there. Like you're literally starting to see all of the shadow. You're starting to see all the shadow. And seeing all the shadow, this is confirmation for you, by the way. It's confirmation for you, by the way. And seeing all the shadow, you're realizing that every bit of that, even the shit that you thought you regretted, and I said it that way for a reason, you thought you regretted, has been part of your journey. It's been part of your journey. And that brings us to this, because this was on the bottom. This is the hummingbird. So you're getting 4 cards instead of just 3, because this is how they came out. You being the caretaker of the lost, and you drawing in all of these people that were so drawn to the smoky mirror aspect of you, has all been part of the journey that you're supposed to be on, the path you're supposed to be walking, because you are literally the light in some people's life. You are the only light some people have. And I don't know if you've been questioning that lately, if you've been questioning if things were supposed to be the way they are. Are you on the right path? Are you on the wrong path? Whatever. The answer to your question is that the universe is shifting you to the path you're supposed to be on. You literally are the caretaker of the lost, my friend. You are always going to draw in these people to you. It just is what it is. Some people have that path in life. You cannot fix these people. You can't make them be found. What you can do is be the hummingbird for them, be the light, be the one that sets them on their path, be the one that shows them that the world is not all the smoky mirror. Okay? You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Just letting you know, my friend. Yes, you are absolutely on the right path right now. The universe is not going to let you get off of this path. Thank you for the gift, love. All right. Miss Tina Weathington, you ready? Let me refresh this because maybe would like for you to refresh, sir. Okay. All right, Miss Tina. So I have you down for 6 cards. I think yours feels just a little bit different than Lori's does, so. As in, it's not 2 people here. Thank you. There we go. Interesting. I feel like, Miss Tina, this is two separate situations. That's why I'm drawing two lines. The first situation is like the biggest thing. The second one is one that's coming. It's almost like it's crashing into the first one. It's like you're on this path and then this other one is crashing into it like this. And what's interesting is that so many cards were trying to draw for that second one. And then they stopped. Now I'm having a trouble getting anything to draw from this deck. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, you ready? So let's talk about this first one. Okay, let's look and find. Let's look at this first one. Look and find. I was looking at somebody's comment. I got to quit letting my brain read what I'm seeing. Okay, so Miss Tina, you start off with Hades, which is equality. It's wisdom. Then you have the luminous warrior. We're going to talk about the third card in a minute, but I want to talk about these two first. My friend, you're at an amazing spot in your life. Oh, you've got repeating numbers going on a lot. Okay. You've got repeating numbers going on a lot, don't you? You're at an amazing spot in your life. You are dialed in completely. You feel like you have the whole path laid out in front of you, even if you don't like some of the steps. But you've realized that all of this wisdom you've gained, all of this inevitability to put you on the path where you are right now has literally been because you have a specific, your soul has a specific role you have to play in this life. I would bet that you're also an earth sign, or you have a lot of earth sign placements, because these two cards also speak of a lot of stubborn aspects about yourself. Okay. Part of what you need to do right now is to drift. This is the drifter card. It's going with the flow. And I have a feeling that this is really, really hard for you, even spiritually, because you're trying to like, no, this has to happen. So this can happen. So this can happen. So this can happen. Like you want everything super structured. You need it super structured. Some of this is part of you, the way things have to go. The other part of this is anxiety, because spiritually you've been run through the ringer. But you have to just let things happen the way they need to happen, because this other situation that is crashing into you right now, you are an earth sign. The first card this pulls out is the Morrigan. And this is introspection and opposition. So these are things that are hitting you in your path right now that are literally opposing where you're trying to go. You're trying to push on this solid path, and this is trying to push you like this. Okay? You're going to find this funny. The next card on this second thing is Earth. And then you have intentionality. Both of these cards are the number 17. I would advise you to look up what the number 17 is, because it's two different decks that pulled the same number. It's obviously important, and you're obviously seeing repeating numbers, which means they are a sign for you right now. Look up the number 17. It's obviously important. This other thing that's crashing into you, it's also very stubborn. It is not going to stop. It's very stubborn. It's stubborn because it's intentionally being put in your path right now by the universe. Good or bad. I don't know what it is, good or bad. It's intentionally being put in front of you by the universe. So my friend, you're going to have to allow it to push your path sideways just a little bit for right now. I know it sucks, but here's the thing. I have a feeling that instead of doing this, you are starting to get like this on your path. This is literally pushing you back to where you're supposed to be. It's pushing you back on that luminous warrior path. It's also showing you how strong you can be when you push, because it is going to push you too far, and you're going to have to push right back. So drift for a little bit. Let it push you where you need to go, okay? And when you feel like it's pushed you too far, that's the time to push back. That's the time to push back, okay? For right now, Let things go how they need to go. Let them flow, and look up what the number 17 is, because it's important. The repeating numbers are important too. Does that help, my friend? All right. Next, I have Miss Amanda Butts. Where are you at, Sugar Face? You're welcome, love. Like I said, if you guys are on YouTube, I'm going to apologize that I can't see your comments because I have my website up as well. The one thing I do not like about the El Rancho is that there are not a lot of plugins in here. And instead of bringing my nice, long, wonderful cord, I brought short ones. And I can't stretch them. So I'm having to dual up here on my laptop. So, all right, Miss Amanda, you ready? So you start off with Morgan Le Fay. This is atonement, but it's also growth. And there's another thing on here, but those are the things that coincide with this reading. And I said atonement for a reason. Then you have thunder. And then you have deep dive, which is diving into a task head first. I love this card. I think it's a really, really cool card. So, Miss Amanda, you've just gone through a period where, and I think that you're at the end of this period now. I don't think you've come out of it yet. You've gone through a period of massive growth, like insane. You don't recognize yourself from 6 months ago or even really 2 months ago. That kind of growth. An insane growth where you kind of sat down on your butt lately and gone, man, you're really proud of yourself. And at the same time, you know that some of the bullshit that you just went through, it feels like atonement for things in the past. So here's the thing. Right now, maybe just for a couple of days or so, you have a break. You have a break. Okay? You're fixing to get whacked with a humongous bolt of lightning, and you're fixing to get rushed forward, pushed forward with this amazing need. And it's literally going to have you deep dive down a pathway. I have a feeling you've already seen which path that's going to be. You just don't know how deep it's going to push you down. As much as your path has changed in the last 6 months, it's going to change even more. It's going to change even more. When I'm going to advise something really weird, and then I'm going to tell you why. Right now, be taking a picture of yourself on a daily basis. Seriously. And this is kind of advice for all of you watching right now. I'm doing this, okay? I've been doing this for 2 years. Not just because I'm on social media, etc. I noticed that I wasn't recognizing myself in photos from years ago, right? A couple, 3 years ago. And then it got to where I wasn't recognizing myself in photos just from months ago. Like I'd look at them, I'd know it was me, but I'd be like, that's not me. When you get on your path, when you are walking the spiritual path you need to walk, you change. You change physically for the better. As you get older, you start to look younger. Your face changes, your eyes change, your body changes. And it's an amazing thing to watch. It's an amazing thing to watch. So I would recommend, Miss Amanda, taking a picture of yourself every single day and then doing a time lapse every month, year, whatever you want to do. Yeah. You're fixing to get hit really hardcore with another deep dive. And this is going to be one that truly affects you and changes you on such a deep level, Miss Amanda. I'm excited for you. I'm super excited for you. I'm super excited for you. But enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the next couple of days, because then, bam, bam. All right. Miss Maria L., you ready? Thank you, guys. I appreciate all the comments about my hair, especially since it was kind of an accidental. Ooh, okay, Maria, what's up with this? You got all these cards flopping out everywhere. Oh, got you. Okay. You just made a huge sacrifice, didn't you? Okay. Gotcha. All right, Miss Maria, you ready? Ready? You start off with the eternal servitor, which is hope and yearning and incompleteness. Then you have the sacrifice. And then you have the watcher's card, which is transpersonal relations. So, Miss Maria, you really feel like something is missing in your life. Really, really hardcore missing in your life. You feel incomplete. You feel like you have this hole in the center of your chest, and you have no idea what needs to fill that hole in your chest. You don't feel like you belong here. You don't feel like you belong somewhere else. You just know that you're kind of homesick without really knowing where home is. A lot of us are going through this right now. If you have not just made this sacrifice, it's coming up. Now, this is not something the universe yanks away from you. This right here is something that you realize you have to give up voluntarily. You have to make this sacrifice. You have to let this go. When you realize what this is, when you realize that you have to let this go voluntarily, that it's no longer for you, you're going to realize that your path is not so much to own these relationships. It's not so much to collect people in your life. It's not so much to be a part of the norm. Your path is to be a watcher, my friend. Your path is to pay attention and detail and chronicle all these things around you so you can report back when you get there. When you get to where this hole in your chest is filled. Does that make sense? So, you're not going to be completely happy in this norm, in this meat sack, until you're around other watchers. Because you guys have a different way of viewing everything. You have a much different way of viewing everything. So, I hope that helps, Miss Maria. Watchers are very, very interesting people. They see the little tiny details in everything. And a lot of times people take that as being overly protective or nosy, paying too much attention. There's a difference in nosy and watching. Nosy people get in the middle of people's businesses. Watching is not being nosy. Watching is detailing everything going on around you. That's what you do. You store it all up here, these little bitty filing cabinets, except for you, I think they're notebooks. They're little bitty notebooks up there. Don't stop doing that. Okay? Don't stop doing that. Miss Minnie. All right, love. I've got you down for 2 on here. So it's being observant. Yeah. Yeah. Are you wanting 6 or are you wanting two different things? I guess let me ask that. Who doesn't love nosy people? I will tell you what, though. Nosy people do serve their purpose. They absolutely do. I know too many people who have had a nosy person pause a robbery that was going on in their house. I've known too many nosy people that have saved someone from something. Nosy people have their purpose. 6, please. Gotcha. Yeah. Nosy people serve their purpose. All right. Ready, girl? So I'm having to do these in a curve, but this is one long line, okay? So you start off with the exile, which is strategy and failure and trauma. And then you have the rattle. Then you have mindful, which is group think. You have a lot of 40s here. Then you have spiritual narcolepsy, which is self-explanatory. I'm trying not to move my cards too much, y'all, because for some reason my OCD makes me pick them up and then line them up just perfect back. So when you all see me doing this, it's because they have to each have the same. It's insane. I'm insane. Then you have the wind. And then you have the ferryman, which is necessity and focus. So you are realizing right now in this moment, and I think you have been for, I would say, at least a week or so, the way you've been going about things, the strategy you've had in life so far is not the one that you need to keep with as you go forward. All the things you used to do, all the ways you used to think, all of the plans you put into place before, they suddenly are not working. Everybody goes through this. Literally everybody. And it fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. Because when we realize that we have completely been pulled out of the norm, none of those normal strategies and ways of being and ways of thinking and so on are going to work anymore. They're not going to work because you no longer reside in that matrix. It's hard to shift from being in the norm and being in the matrix and having to do things the normal way to being able to manipulate and manifest and do all the things you want to do. You're starting to feel this like hardcore right now. You're feeling this call, this pull to make massive changes, but you have no idea what they are. So what this is kind of a little cheat sheet for you to know what they are, okay? The group think card. You are really starting to plug into the people you need to be plugged into. People are starting to cross your path that are really important to your path. People are starting to come along, even if it's just on social media, some random person in the parking lot somewhere as you're walking in or out of the grocery store, some person from home you haven't talked to in a long time, etc. You're starting to come into connection with people that are helping you hear this rattle deeper and deeper and deeper. As you plug into this, you're going to see where there are a lot of places that I don't think you've been asleep spiritually. What it is that these are pieces of yourself, spiritual ways of being. It's almost like you've put to sleep way back here in your mind somewhere. They're there. They're still there. They're like Sleeping Beauty. They just need you to wake them up. These are things that you were taught. These are things that you grew up doing, learning, etc. And for some reason, you've kind of moved away from them. You just like push them back here. As you get reconnected to this group think, to the people that need to be in your path. And I gave you those specific examples for a reason. Guys, people are going to come across your path that are really, really important in the most random of places. And I'm going to tell you a story here in just a minute to prove my point. as you start to see these things in the past that need to be pulled back to now, Sweet Pea, it's going to put a massive wind back under your sails. A massive wind back under your sails. And you're not going to be able to stop. You're not going to be able to stop. At first, it's going to overwhelm you. It's going to really overwhelm you when that wind pops up because you haven't had it in so long. You've been in this phase where you feel like you've been stagnant because none of the things that you ever that you've tried up to now, none of those have been working lately. So you've been stagnant. When this wind comes up, you're going to be so damn focused and move and make all these transitions that protecting your focus is going to become key to where you're going. There's a lot with your cultural background and your history, Miss Minnie, that you have kind of put to the back that you need to pull to the front again. Okay? Let me just say that blue is a significant color for you. Not just because I like blue, but because as I'm talking, I'm seeing the lady in the blue gown that we've talked about in the channeled reads twice now. She's appeared twice, and she has come right back in. So whoever the blue lady is, whoever the lady is in the blue gown is important. Blue is important, okay? So let me explain to you guys what I was talking about when I said a stranger in a parking lot, things like that. Not quite a parking lot story, thank God. But today we were on the road. I'm going to tell you guys this, Miss Rebel, I'm drawing cards for you, okay? I'm going to tell you guys this, I'm drawing cards for Rebel. We're on the road and we stopped to get lunch, okay? Too many cards. I am 5 when I'm on the road, and I always want McDonald's French fries, especially when my stomach is upset. I don't know why. They make my tummy feel better. And the altitude gets me every fucking time, even though I grew up in the mountains. It is what it is. I'm old and meat sacks are stupid. So we stop in this little town. Oh, I say little town. My son wanted Subway, and I kind of was cranky, and I was kind of like, I don't want Subway. I was kind of being an ass, right? Not too bad. So I was like, okay, you know what? Like, let's go get you your Subway, and then we'll go down the road a little bit, and I'll get some fries because that's what I want, right? So I have a few spiritual tells, okay? So when these things pop up, I know that something important is either fixing to happen or I need to really pay the attention, all the fucking attention to the things around me. So as we turn to go toward the place where Subway was, there are 2 crows right up there. 2 crows are my signal to pay the fuck attention that something important is happening right now. One sitting on the sign and one is flying up right in front of the Subway, okay? So I'm like, all right. Because I had told him, I'll just let you go in with my card. You can get whatever you want. And you'll come out and we'll just leave. When I saw the crows, I was like, bitch, get your ass out of the car and go inside. Get your ass out of the side. Get your ass inside. So I get out of the car, I go inside. I do not bitch one more time, okay? So we go inside, we're standing there. As soon as I smelled it, I'm like, okay, I am hungry. I need food. We're standing in line, and there's a guy in front of us. And the first thing I noticed was his mustache because it was fantastic. It even had it was fantastic, right? And then as I'm standing there and I'm listening to him order and so on, I notice his bracelet. He has this fantastic bracelet. And it's huge. It's about this big, right? And he's not a big guy. And it's like almost pointed. It's beautiful. And I noticed that it has these detailed things perfectly spaced all around it. And so after he ordered, I lightly touched his arm and I said, hey, I just wanted to tell you that your bracelet is fantastic. It's beautiful. And he goes, what? Oh, and he pulls his arm up and he takes it off and he's showing me. And he's like, this is my alphabet, my language. And I noticed his accent that he's from India. And he handed it to me. And I held it and I felt really honored that he did. And he turned it over because I was holding it like this. He turned it over and he said, and this is my daily ritual. These are my symbols. This is me, etc. So he's showing me something very personal about his life, a stranger in a subway line. Okay. This meant something to me, is because that's a very personal thing. Because he could have just said, oh, thanks. It's, he said, this is the alphabet on the side. Is this, I said, is this Sanskrit? And he said, it is. He said, it's the alphabet, A through, all the letters. Turned it back over and he said, this is my ritual I do every day. So I handed it back to him and I said, thank you for showing me that. Like, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. He said, absolutely. And then he, gets his stuff and he leaves and we both kind of nod to each other. I say, you have a wonderful day. He says, you likewise, And the whole time I'm like, man, this is exactly why I came into Subway. Because if I didn't come in, I wouldn't have met the man with the amazing mustache and seen the bracelet and had that interesting experience and so on. And as I'm standing there and all this is going through my head and I'm marveling over how gorgeous this bracelet was and so on, this lady leans over the counter and she goes, hey, do you do the TikTok? And I said, and if you're watching, it was, I loved meeting you today. And I said, I do. And I kind of blushed a little bit. And she said, I watch you all the time. And it made me blush and it made me giggle because she was so excited. And I said, would you like a picture? And she said, yes. And so, yeah, I got to, John, love, I hope that you have a fantastic day. And I hope that you find what you're looking for, hon. I'm sorry that you feel the need to come in and troll and be that person. We all look for patterns that don't exist, but they do exist. Some people call it the universe. Some people call it God. Some people call it source. Some people call it faith. Some people call it destiny, whatever you want to call it. Patterns are all around us. Patterns guide life in general, period. So I hope you find the pattern that you are looking for, my friend. Before I was rudely interrupted, seeing the patterns, seeing the things that need to be seen, and the random chance accidental encounters is exactly what needs to happen, Miss Minnie. Seeing those things. Okay? Guys, there are absolutely no consequences. Not consequences. Coincidences. There are no accidents. There are no random happenings. Everything has meaning. When you start looking at everything with a spiritual eye, how does this affect my soul? How does this affect my path? How does this affect me? You're going to see, thank you for that, Howla. You're going to see where life is absolutely magical. Everything, even the shit. So, there you go. Miss Rebel, are you ready? Rebel's like, you've had my cards out. Shut up. All right, Miss Rebel. You start off with the caretaker of the lost as well, which is pulling in all the misfits. It's being assistance to people that don't have anybody else. Then you have the mystical shaman. And I want you to notice the wings. Yeah. And then you have reconciliations. So, Miss Rebel, you can come in.
I thought it was locked.
Oh. So, Miss Rebel, this right here tells me that the story I just told, you probably were like, oh, this is exactly what I've been going through lately. You've had so many things hit you really hardcore lately, little bitty things that before you would have ignored. Now they mean a great deal to you. They mean a massive deal to you. And you're starting to not only see where all of these lost people, thank you, Miss Sarah. You're starting to see where not only have all of these broken, lonely people been finding you for a reason. You've been setting them on their path. You've been a guidepost for them, whether you realized it or not. You're starting to reconcile. You're starting to reconcile all of the things that have happened up to now. This is a pivot point in your life right now, Miss Rebel. It's a pivot point. You're going to start making more and more and more and more connections as you go forward. And it's going to be a fantastic shift every time one of these connections is made. Every time you reconcile something in your mind about why this happened or why that happened. Welcome to being spiritually mature, Miss Rebel. There you go. Welcome to being spiritually mature. All right. Miss Trisha. You ready? I have Trisha, then Serinda. And Serinda, I have you for 4 cards, love. All right, we ready? It feels really quiet in here. Normally I have music going. I think it also feels really quiet in here suddenly too, because when we got here, they were outside painting and they were working down the hallway on something, and now they are not, and it's really, really quiet. Oh, Miss Trisha, you've absolutely had some repeating numbers too, haven't you? I will point this out in a minute and give you your homework to look it up. So, Miss Trisha, you start off with this. This is the Queen of Shadows, and this is wrath and suspicion. The main part of this is suspicion, and it's not so much being suspicious of things and people. It is, but it's not. Does that make sense? The suspicious part of this is that suddenly your brain feels like it's on heightened alert and you don't know why. It's like you're really looking at everything around you. You're really being very careful. You're being very suspicious, like anything that happens, good or bad. People that come in your path, people that have been in your path, people that have been there forever. You're suddenly looking at them and going, something's wrong, and I don't know what. Like you're trying to figure out what's up, what's going on. Then you have the Jaguar. This is a very feminine card, and it's a very deep, deep feminine power card. Then you have teachability. This is not you. You aren't the one that needs teaching. You are the one who is about to begin teaching other people. You have a very, very unique way of seeing the shadow aspect of things, people, situation, etc. around you. You have a very, very unique way of that. It's time for you to step into that power. It's time for you to step into that Mother Jaguar power and teach others how to do that as well. So what I would advise doing would be to get some books on the shadow self, on shadow work, read some Carl Jung. I would also recommend listening to and reading some Alan Watts, as well as some Ram Dass. Jung can get just a little dry, I'm not going to lie. But you're looking at things with suspicion because your shadow self has been heightened right now. Okay? Your shadow self has been crazily heightened right now. Here's what I want to point out. Both of these are the number 28. I'm not a numerologist. I cannot in any way, shape, or form memorize what all these numbers mean, but you need to look up what the number 28 means, Miss Trisha. Okay? It's obviously very important to this right here, right now. So, I hope that helps, my friend. All right, Miss Serinda, you ready? There we go. My laptop's actually doing what it's supposed to do. Holy crap. All right, Miss Serinda, here we go. Thank you guys. Yeah, I got a little sick yesterday from whatever we ate for lunch. And then when we were at the Nat, it was really, really hot. And if you guys haven't been watching me very long, you may or may not know, but when we were in Dallas for our retreat, I got a little heat sick, and it has affected me pretty deeply. I can't get overheated now. Some of it, and I was worried it was my heart medicine, but I asked my cardiologist, and that's not a side effect of it. So I also talked to my doctor, and apparently once you get a little heat sick, it can take you a long time to get over it. And I'm not happy with that because it's stupid. It is what it is. So I got a little heat sick yesterday, got to the hotel, and I passed out for several hours. Like, my son brought me dinner and was kind of worried about me, checked on me all the time. So I'm okay, though. I'm good today. I've been chatty Cathy the whole day, my son can tell you. So, all right. Miss Surrender, are you ready, love? You start off with El Shaddai, which is a paternal instinct. It's also wisdom, equality. Then you have Wild Woman. Then you have Revelation. Then you have Deep Diving into a Task. So, Miss Surrender, you have been operating in a place of very, very deep wisdom. Very deep wisdom. Not only that, but you're realizing that operating in this wisdom, you don't always have to be an ass. You've realized that being kind and showing them the way goes way, way further than any other rudeness, firmness, whatever it is. Like, you're really, really getting to that old adage of you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, blah, blah, blah. As that happens, though, you're also becoming the person that you always needed to be. You're allowing yourself to be you all the time, unapologetically. And this is kind of your permission from the universe that, yes, that is exactly what needs to happen. It's where you need to go. As you continue to change, what's funny here is there's not repeating numbers, but it's like 60, 50, 10, 62, 57, 10. Like, as you go through this change, there's so many revelations that are going to smack you. There are so many times that you're going to be walking down this big, huge path right here. You're going to see all of these cool little side roads, little side quests that you're like, I got time. Let me do that. In fact, you're going to start loving these little side quests so much that you're going to start deep diving into them. I'm not going to lie. You're going to lose yourself, girl, in a fantastic way. Y'all, you hit a point in your path when you start operating out of extreme kindness. Unfortunately, you start operating out of extreme kindness after you've experienced something horrible. You've experienced some of the worst that people can do to you. The people that are the most kind are the ones that are capable of the most damage. But once you hit that point, you start to see all these amazing little side paths that you can do, that you can take, that you can walk forward on. And you start to really revel in sorry, my bangs are tickling my face, my eye right there. You start to revel in the fact of deep diving down into doing all those little things. And they're fantastic. So, Miss Surrender, you are absolutely on the right path into delving down these little side paths. Be who you are unapologetically and authentically. Enjoy these little side quests and have fun doing them. Let your soul deep dive down that. You won't be sorry, I promise. Plus, I don't think you have a choice. I think the universe is going to make you do these things. It is what it is. All right, Miss Hippie Mama, you ready? So after Miss Lisa here, those were my prepaids. Lisa is the last of my prepaids. And then I will get into those of you guys that have bought tickets today. All right. Apparently you get 2 there, Lisa. And for some reason, I don't feel like you need that deck. You need this deck. So there we go. I can't make this shit up. Oh, y'all, let me just say this. I was a gamer for a long time. I was a beta tester for some big companies. I helped create video games. I am not stupid when it comes to technology by any means. When you get muted or blocked and you come back in with an account that doesn't have any followers and is brand new, and you're only following me, and you start making the exact same comments you were just muted for, I'm not dumb. I'm not dumb. I will block you and every other fake account you create. You got me fucked up if you think otherwise. Just saying. So, that being said, Miss Hippie Mama, are you ready? I love being underestimated, and I'm happy to be underestimated. Thank you, Miss Christine. Yeah. I also watch comments way more than you guys think I do. So, Miss Lisa, you start off with the Traveler, which is independence and restlessness. And then this card came out as well, which is the Hades card. It is wisdom and equality and inevitability. And then you have, like I said, you can't make this shit up. Deep dive, diving into a task head first. So I know just from talking to you personally that you're fixing to travel. You're fixing to go a unique path. You're fixing to shift and change and move. Even though you're fixing to make this big move, even though you're fixing to shift and you know it's the right thing to do, you also know it's inevitable. I'm going to let you know right now that it is going to start a unique shift in you as well, a unique restlessness that is going to keep you wanting to move around. This wisdom that you already hold is making you hunger for more. And the more you gain, the more you're going to want. It's a never-ending thing. It's not a cycle because it never ever comes full circle. Once you start learning, it just keeps going and going and going and going and going, and it gets addicting. The travel you're fixing to make, the road you're fixing to go down, is going to put you at a unique crossroads where you need to make a decision sooner rather than later. Thank you, Miss Trisha. And you're going to deep dive down that wisdom seeking path. Seriously, deep dive down that wisdom seeking path. It's going to be very interesting for you going forward. I think it's going to be a much bigger shift and change than you even can fathom right now. It's a huge change, night and day change from where you were to where you're going to be. Because right now you're in this in between, this transition phase. When you get here, you're going to see that there's more things and shifts, and this prismatic way of looking at the world is really going to hit you hardcore. So get ready to deep dive down, learning all the things. Okay. It's going to be a lot more than you realize, my friend. A lot more than you realize. I would like it if my computer would work. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, No. What are you doing right now? What are you doing with your life, sir? Okay, there we go. I know you are. I know you feel it coming, and I know that you have felt it coming for a while. All right, Miss Shannon Sprague, you are next, love. Ready? Hopefully that's going to just refresh like it's supposed to, because that would be fantastic. Hey, girl, how are you, Miss Shannon? I saw you down there before you tried to cover stuff up. Ready, girl? Here you go. Well, I say that. Let me get on here and fix this damn thing again. So you start off with Arthur. Thank you, Miss Lisa. I like that it was the travel thing. You start off with Arthur, which is nobility. It is commitment. Then you also have the sacrifice. And then you have experiencing things as they come. So, Miss Shannon. There's a lot of 4s here. You have 44 and then 14. So 4 is obviously important for you going forward. Girl, you've got a humongous sacrifice coming up, and I think that you already feel it coming. It's something that hasn't completely shown you what it is yet. I think that you probably see the beginnings of it. It's like when you approach a light from afar, and it's just like this little pinprick, you know what I mean? And it starts to get brighter and brighter. I think it's about right here, right now. You kind of are already starting to see what it might be. You have this gut feeling of what it might be, but it hasn't completely shown itself yet. Because at the bottom of the King Arthur card, it's companionship, it's nobility, and it's also self-realization. So you're going to have a very deep moment of self-realization. And I don't think there's a way to predict when or where this is going to happen. And in that instant, you're going to make up your mind to let go of this thing. And when you do, it's going to set you adrift for a while. But the thing is, it's exactly what you need to happen. It's exactly what you need to happen. You felt stagnant for a while in your life. And it actually makes me kind of sad to talk about this. It actually makes me kind of sad to talk about this. So I have a feeling that when this sacrifice pops up that you have to make, it's going to make you sad as well. But you know that it has to happen for you to move forward. And it is going to set you adrift. It's going to set you adrift emotionally and spiritually for a little while. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. But 4 is going to be a very important number with all of this. And I also want you to know how these look when these cards are together like this. I almost feel like this is a relationship that you're going to have to let go of. Yeah. Just the symbolism in those 2 cards together. It's something that you really, really have to let go of. So if you need anything, Shannon, I'm here. Okay. Yeah. If you need anything, I'm here. All I got to do is shoot a message. I got you. Okay. Too many. All right, Miss Virginia Fisher, you ready? I got to get my ass in gear because I tend to start talking too much. And I have a haunted hotel to take y'all on a tour of at 8. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Miss Virginia Fisher. I can't read, and I just drew all these cards. So guess what? Apparently you need way more than you realized you did. So instead of just one card, girl, I pulled you 3 because it's obviously important. So you have the Martyr. This is the one card you would have gotten is the Martyr. This is honesty and shame and retribution. But then you have the Andean cross, and what I would recommend would be to look up what this means, because even though I can tell you because I love this symbol, it's going to mean more when you look it up. And it's going to mean a lot to you when you look it up too. I'm just going to tell you right off the bat that the Andean cross encompasses everything. All of the directions, all of the elements, everything. That's also the number 2 card. This one here is 32. 2 is obviously something important. This right here is interconnectivity. It's the jeweled web. So you're going to have to be very, very honest with yourself about where you're headed on your path. You already know where you're supposed to be headed, but for some reason, you're bucking against that really hard. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the path you're supposed to be on. I thought I was going to yawn, and then it started, and then it went, no. I hate that. I hate that. I don't know why you're bucking against it. But those 2 cards, those 2 last cards that I was like, I don't know why, but you need these 2. This is exactly why. The Andean cross is going to be important for you going forward. And that jeweled web, that interconnectivity is also going to be very important. So my friend, you have, the universe is not going to let you, thank you, love. The universe is not going to let you ignore this any longer. Like I said, 2 is also a very important number for you. So here's your permission to fall down the rabbit hole, and I will hold this up if you want to take a screenshot of it. I'll hold it up for you guys on YouTube too. This is going to be very important for you going forward. I think that you know already too. I think that you just have been fighting against it for some reason. So you are so welcome. You didn't know that you were going to get homework, did you? All right, Jeff, you ready? I may be sold out for the evening. Let me look real quick, guys. Yeah, I am sold out for the evening. I don't have any other tickets available, guys. Sorry on YouTube that I just like twisted you guys all around. You guys are probably like, bitch, don't do that. You're going to make me sick. All right. Here we go, Jeff. Which means I've got to hurry my ass up because, yeah. All right. Here you go, love. You, for some reason, have the Prince upside down. I thought I had made sure all my cards were right side up, but, you know, you have the Prince upside down. So upside down, right side up, this is sorrow and lost valor. Right side up, that's the opposite. That means happiness and you finding yourself again. Then you have the upper world, which is connecting to things and beings that have passed on before. And then you have the will o' the wisp, which is treasures hidden in the shadows. And I want you to notice that both of these cards look almost identical. Can't make this shit up. So, Jeff, you really right now, I think this is just confirmation, and I don't know why you don't know this already. You're exactly connected how you need to be connected. You're seeing the treasures in the shadows. You are seeing the things you're seeing. Let me just say it that way. You're not crazy. You are seeing the shadows in the corner of your eyes. You are hearing the things. You are, is it singing? Is that what you're hearing? You are hearing the noises. You are hearing the footsteps. You are knowing the things. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Quit discounting your gifts. Quit discounting your gifts. They're popping up for a reason. They're intense for a reason right now. You've got to learn to use them and be happy in using them and be comfortable and confident in using them. Also be discerning on who you share information with. Unfortunately. So I just want to hold these two up again. The upper world and the treasures hidden in the shadows. I think it's amazing how alike these two cards are. That makes sense, Jeff, since you said I'm blown away. Did that make sense? All right, Teresa Dursby, you ready? Dewsby. I put an R in your name. You needed an R. You just didn't know it. There's always a fear of using your gifts, guys, because you're welcome, Jeff. Not only is there a fear in that, as kids, we're discounted when we know things, when we see things, or we were. Parents are not so much that anymore. You're welcome so much, love. Oh, it just says Dewsby on there. Weird. As we get older, we're told to trust our gut. And then we're also called weird when we trust our gut. So there's so many mixed signals, it's not even funny. So I get it. Yeah. So, Miss Teresa, ready? It could just be my site because Wix is stupid. I'm just saying Wix is stupid. So, or maybe I just can't read tonight, but yeah. I love you too, Jeff, honey. All right. Miss Teresa. So you have the Morrigan, which is the Weaver of Fate, which is opposition. It's also introspection. And it's anticipating things to come. Then you have Pachamama, which is Mother Earth. It's being connected to everything around you. Being the roots of the tree. Wow. Okay. You can't make this up. You also have the Will o' the Wisp, which is treasures hidden in the shadows. Yours has a little different meaning than Jeff's does, but it's the same nonetheless. And I want you to notice this. Wings. All different kinds of wings as well. So, Miss Teresa, you need to be putting out the roots of your tree. You need to let them go out further and further than they have ever gone before. There are people that need to be pulled into your path. There are people that need to be healed by the things that you can do and the things that you know already. You are one of those people that are able to ground everyone around you. You just are. This is why people come to you for advice. It's why people just want to be in your presence, even to the point that it annoys you. It's why people tell you shit that you're like, why are you telling? I don't know you. We're in the line at the grocery store. Shut up. And they're telling you their life story. They're telling you deep, dark shit. And then going, I don't know why I just told you that. Because you are a grounding soul. You're one of the souls here that's able to ground other people. You are like the earth to them. So, realize that the things that they're telling you, these deep, dark shadow aspects of themselves, realize that those things are small treasures that they're giving you. It's a piece of themselves. A very intricate, very secretive, detailed piece of themselves. And it's not a treasure, to blackmail somebody or whatever. It's a treasure because they're giving it to you freely. Most of the time, it's going to be something they haven't even thought of in a long time, but they feel like suddenly they have to tell you. It's so they can process and they can get it off their chest and they can work through whatever that situation was. It's a gift. It's a treasure. And the thing you give back to them, the advice you give back to them, and sometimes just the ear, just the shoulder, is all the treasure that they need. So, Miss Teresa, when people are telling you things like this, it is for a reason. You ground them. So, as much as it gets annoying sometimes, just let it happen, okay? I will say that, and this is for all of you guys that this happens to, because a lot of you guys, I know this happens to. Bruce, your next love, I'll start pulling your cards while I'm talking about this. Headphones are going to be your friend, whether you have them on or not. If I go into a store by myself, I put headphones in. And then I throw cards on the floor. No, I'm just kidding. I put headphones in. Now, don't get me wrong. There are going to be people that'll go and want to talk to you. Okay? But put headphones in. And then I do this and I put my hair behind my ears so people can see I have fucking headphones in. Sometimes I'll even get I have a pair of hot pink ones. They don't plug into my phone. They don't even work with my phone. But they have a wire. People can see them. Oh, you work in retail? Gotcha. When you need a break, when you're not at work and you need to step aside, headphones are going to be your friend. So yeah, I wish you could wear headphones at work. Yeah. It's a way to keep yourself sane when you're in the store. And I will tell you, there is something really eerie and movie-like if you're listening to Beethoven or classical music as you're walking through Walmart. I'm just saying it's really kind of fun. Not going to lie. It's really kind of fun. For those of you guys that have mediumship abilities, or those of you guys that are very empathic and so on, and it physically hurts to go into a store, especially big, huge stores that are concrete and steel. All of the stuff bounces around in there. It has no way to get out. Classical music is going to be your friend, because there is something with classical music that will help your brain to make this connection and be here instead of allowing your abilities to be out there. It's almost like it will give you a little tinfoil hat and drown out the people and the things that want to talk to you when you're in a store. Okay? It will help you. I've used it for years. It's about the only way I can get through Walmart, Costco, Reese's, things like that. It's about the only way I can get through those places by myself. If I'm with somebody, I can tap into their energy a little bit and it's a shield. But there you go. There you go. All right. Bruce, you ready? Ooh. You got repeating numbers popping up for you too. Okay. So you start off with Abaddon. This is pestilence and malice and corruption. Then you have the luminous warrior, which is the number 32. Then you have the jeweled web, which is interconnectivity. It is also the number 32. So your homework, Bruce, is going to be to look up what the number 32 means. So first of all, Bruce, let me say this. I'm sorry. This right here tells me that you have some really intense bullshit and drama going on around you. I'm sorry. This is showing you, and is going to continue to show you, who in your path is not there in your best interest. Who is doing the corruption, who is causing the drama, and who is really, really making problems for you. When you see exactly who that is, you're going to cut them out of your life very quickly. Very quickly. But I think that you're going to have to see a lot before you do cut this person out, because this person means a lot to you currently. It's going to take a lot before you're like, I'm done. I'm done. That's where this comes in. There's going to be one little thing. What's funny is it's not even going to be one of the biggest things. One of the biggest things. It's going to be this little teeny tiny straw that broke the camel's back. When that happens, it's almost like you get zapped upside the head with this, oh my God, you have been holding me back from what I'm supposed to do for so fucking long. Thank you, Miss Michelle. I mean, it's going to be to the point where you don't even really get mad about it. You're just like, you know what? You've been holding me back for so long. I'm just going to rush down the path. I'm just going to rush down the path. I'm no longer waiting on you. And once you make that conscious decision to rush down the path, you're going to see where every single thing around you is connected. You're going to start seeing the ripples. You're going to start seeing all the things. And when you guys start seeing the ripples, I talk about ripples all the time. I need to do a video about ripples. When you talk about the ripples, when you see the ripples, when you start seeing the ripples, it happens at the weirdest, most inopportune times. I'm not going to lie. When you're sitting in traffic, when you're driving, 70 miles an hour down the road, when you're in a room full of people where you really have to pay attention, that's when you start seeing the fucking ripples. Because you start seeing the ripples and like, oh my God, if I hadn't been here and done this and done that and done this, I wouldn't be here and here and going here and here and here. Like you start to see all the ripples. You start to see all the ripples. And it's crazy. So, Bruce, I'm just letting you know, this drama is going to be over sooner than you think, because you're going to be done with it. And when you're done with it, you're going to start seeing all the ripples. They're going to hit you hard, 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 hard. It's going to be like not just a little level up, but a big level up. You're not crazy, but it is going to really pull you out of the glass bubble. Okay? I'm just letting you know right now. All right, Miss Jennifer Thoreau, you ready? You guys on YouTube, I just keep moving you. I'm so sorry. Jennifer, are you wanting, because I have you for 2 readings, are you wanting 6 cards, or are these 2 different readings? And I know I ate dinner, but y'all are going to have to bear with me. I'm putting more food in my face. So. It's just interesting because yours are separated instead of being one after the other. So I'm just going to draw you 6 cards, Miss Jennifer. I love Lay's potato chips. Oh my God. Y'all have no idea. Okay, shit. All right, this is what it is. So, ready, Miss Jennifer? Mm-hmm. They're salty. This wasn't really my supper, but a lot of times when I get sick the next day, I'm like, let's eat everything. You start off with Jeannie, the maid. I always want to say Jenny, and it's Jeannie. I'm just going to call her Jenny because it is what it is. You start off with Jenny, the maid. She's an interesting mix of humility, of disillusionment, and of coming out on top, the underdog. Okay. Then you have the holy mountain. In being the underdog and coming out on top, we tend to see things we tend to see all of the trees in the forest instead of just seeing the forest itself. We tend to see each individual tree. Then you have the drifter experiencing life as it comes. And then you have the perfect storm, which is the courage to step up into life. The drifter and this one both have 4s in them, 14 and then 44. So let's talk about these, and then we're going to talk about these last 2. First of all, let me say that I'm sorry, because this right here tells me that you've been undergoing a massive amount of shit. You have been repeatedly knocked down. You have been repeatedly pushed out of the way. You've repeatedly been in the mud, and you've been taking it like a fucking champ. And not only have you been taking it like a champ, you've been making sure to make notes over all of these things, over everyone that did that shit to you and everyone that helped you back up out of the mud. You've also been taking notes on the times that you did things for other people. They did things for you. And I said it that way for a reason. You're also seeing where you aren't as small and insignificant as you once thought you were. You are an amazingly powerful person. That's what this is. You're starting to see the top of the mountain. You're coming out on top, and you're realizing that you're almost just a couple steps from the top. You're seeing over the mountain already. You're seeing why all of that shit had to happen. But here's the thing. You've been so focused and so diligent and so mesmerized with being on top for so long that now you're going to have to learn to just experience things as they are. Let them happen. Let them roll through. Don't be trying to control how everything goes from here on out. Okay? You've got every single thing you need to step into an amazing life right now. But there's just a little bit of water before you get there that you have to kind of float along. And you have to let it take you to the bank that you need to be on for this. Okay? So here's the other 2. This is a completely different situation. I have a feeling this is right now with this drifting, okay? These 2 cards are both in the 30. It's 38 and 36. This one right here is the authentic self. It's many masks, and it's really hard to see. So I apologize about that. Then right here, you have lost in space, which is needing direction. This is this drifting part right here that's going on. This is what you've got to deal with and got to learn. You've got to realize that you've got to be your authentic self. It's part of the drifting. This lost in space and needing direction. You've been so focused for so long on the path that you've been on. And you've been so focused on being on top, on winning, on coming out the victorious person in the whole war instead of just in the battle, that you need to learn how to be lost for a little while. Most people are lost and they have no idea and they're oblivious and they think they're in charge, but they're really not. And they don't appreciate being lost. Some people are so focused for so long that they don't know how to be lost. And so when it comes to the time that they have to learn to be lost, they fight against it. And that's kind of where you're about to be right now. You've got to learn how to be lost, sweet pea. Enjoy it. Being lost is fantastic. I'm not going to lie. Let yourself drift for a little bit. Let yourself be lost because you're coming out on top. You're coming out on top. Okay? So, I hope that helped, Miss Jennifer. For those of you guys popping in and out, if you have missed your reading, no big deal. It is being streamed on YouTube, so you can catch it. All right, Miss Charity. Charity, bro. Ready? Driftwood is exactly right. How are you, Miss Charity? So after this is Cynthia Mendoza, and then Holly Woods, then Lisa Turley, then Kayla Baldwin. There's more. There's more. So if you didn't hear your name, don't get mad. It's just that's who I can see right now. I love you guys too. Aw. I saw your thing about the feather. So, gal, you start off with the caretaker of the lost. This card has popped up repeatedly tonight. In your case, though, this is more assistance. You guys are so sweet. I love all of you. This is more assistance. Okay. Then you have the giveaway. And then you have deep dive into a task. So you're about to step into an interesting part of your life. And I love Sprite. You're about to step into a very interesting part of your life, sweetheart. I have the feeling that you have always been the one that's tried to be the responsible one. You've always tried to do the right thing. You're very structured and organized and focused. Thank you, Spooky Spooky. Hello in Ireland. Now it's coming to a point where you're going to have to give some of that away to people that need your assistance, to people that need to learn how to be this way. They need to learn how to focus. They need to learn how to grow. They need assistance in finding their own path. Now, do I mean that you need to take on every single broken person that comes to you? Absolutely not. It's simply giving them the flashlight and allowing them to find their own path. You cannot ever fix someone. You cannot ever make someone walk a path. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Don't even try. Don't even try. In trying to fix someone, you're trying to change them, and you're not going to do it. When they are ready to change, when they are ready to move forward, when they are ready to walk their path, they will. But you can give them what they need in the meantime. Once you start doing this, it's going to become a passion. It's going to become a passion for you to help people find their path. You're fixing to make a huge shift in your own life, sweetheart. So, yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a very interesting ride for you. All right. You're just kind of short and sweet. And I have a feeling that you've already felt this coming. You've already felt this coming. All right. Miss Cynthia Mendoza, are you ready? Oh, no. Thank you. There we go. I did not see that video, Miss Karina. Hey, Bruce. Usually we don't have those, especially while the video's still going. I'm trying to think of the best way. Really? The best way for you to find yours. You were about 1, 2, 3 back. So I'm fixing to start on Cynthia. Right before this was Charity. Right before that was Jennifer, and you were before her. So if you go to YouTube right now and kind of scroll back a little bit, I would say maybe 10 minutes. Teresa was right before you, and Jeff was right. So it was Jeff, Teresa, then you, then Jennifer, Charity, and now Cynthia. Does that help? Does that help a little bit? So there you go. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, Miss Cynthia, you have the Prince. This is lost valor and sorrow and incompleteness. Oh, I'll have to look. Interesting. Interesting. After 139, the tree by itself. Okay, I'll look. Hey, Brody. Remind me here in a minute. Somebody said I need to look at my Joshua tree video at like 139 into the video.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss Karina. I'm gonna look. I made so I made sure to tell my son. So yeah. All right. Then Miss Cynthia, you have the sacrifice. And then you have spiritual narcolepsy. Girl, you're fixing to hit a plateau. Thank you. Thank you, Tiff. You're fixing to hit a plateau. Guys, we often think that plateaus are bad things in our path, but they are not. They are not. Okay? We go through periods of loss, and we go through periods of downtime. And we go through periods of not having the right thing spiritually moving forward, because we need to appreciate and take a breather from the things that have already happened. These plateaus usually happen after a period of such intense growth that it's like you can't breathe. You've grown so vast. Every single pair of pants you have is high water, so up to your knees. So plateaus are fantastic because they allow you to process all of that growth that you went through and work through it and go, oh my God, this is exactly where I've grown and where I've done and so on. Now, as you're stepping onto this plateau, there are going to be some things that you leave behind on purpose, that you sacrifice on purpose. I'm just letting you know, Miss Cynthia. And this is kind of a fair warning, okay? You're just going to feel like you're falling down on some of your spiritual practices, that there are things that you're not doing that you should be doing, etc. That's not the case. When you hit a plateau, you stop doing some of the things you no longer need to do to make room for the things that are coming. I used to be really diligent about changing my altar all the time. I don't anymore. I haven't in like a while. The only reason I did here recently is because I moved. Everything has its place and it doesn't have to shift. I don't need to move those things. I don't need to change those things. My whole home is now my altar. It took me a really deep plateau to see that. So there are going to be things that you're going to find you no longer need to do, that spiritually you have ascended from that practice. It is what it is. It'll suck and it'll hurt and you'll feel like a lazy person. but it's not the case, okay? So just let it process, let it happen, and so on. Let it move forward. Just walk along that plateau. You'll be all right, I promise. I found it. You're welcome, Bruce, honey. Good, I'm glad that makes sense. All right, Miss Hollywoods, you ready? Woo, okay. I have you for 2, Holly, so I assume that means you need 6, yeah? Because you're already throwing cards at me. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Well, you ready, girl? If I rub a chip in my mouth. You start off with Morgan Le Fay, which is growth for you. A lot of it. We're going to talk about this pile over here in just a second. This card is also atonement. But the thing is, I think that you are starting to see this atonement that you went through as growth. It no longer feels like you were being punished. You're starting to see where things were removed from your life for a reason. Then you have the Watcher's card. You're finally stepping into who your soul was always meant to be, Miss Holly. With this, you are starting to get more and more and more detailed with the things you notice, to the point that it's probably starting to drive you a little crazy. When we start becoming a watcher, when we start stepping into that role, you start to notice all of these things to the point that you're like, why the fuck am I noticing that? Why do I care? How have I never noticed that before? That's the thing that's going to come out of your mouth the most. How have I not seen this before? How have I not noticed this before? Because you didn't need to. You didn't need to. So the next card, this is one of the ones that flung out, is the staff. The staff is the rod which guides other people. As you're starting to pay attention to these things, how have I never noticed that before? You're going to be telling other people, did you know, blah, 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 blah. Have you ever seen this and this here? Have you noticed this and this? Like, you're really going to start to notice these things. Because you need to point them out to other people. And it's almost like you're going to start pulling people along with you on this massive amount of growth. Then you have the mystical shaman. You're pulling people along on this growth because there are certain people that are going to cross your path, that are going to get sucked into this, being pulled along and seeing the things that they need to see to set them on their path. You have some very important souls that are going to come across your path that need you to point these things out to them. You're a very important person, sweet pea. Don't ever, ever think you're not. Every single one of you are. You have a specific role to play. You have a very specific role to play right now. It's not going to take long and you're going to see that some of these people that you're putting on your path, putting on their path, make the whole world around you magical. And as you're seeing these things and detailing all of these chronicles, the world is going to become more and more and more magical to you too. Guys, I know the world seems like it's in a dumpster fire, and it is, don't get me wrong. But it's always in a dumpster fire if you think about it. It's always on the verge of blowing up. It's always on the verge of melting down. It's always on the verge of change and shifting. But the world is also magic. when you start seeing the world as magic, it's hard to see it as anything less. The card you end with down here is the Eternal Servitor, which is hope and incompleteness, but it's also being a guide. It's also being a guide, Miss Holly. Just as in the staff guiding people to see the magic in the world. You're going from being someone who had followed other people to someone who guides other people, love. And the thing is, it seems like when you go to that, you're supposed to be the leader. You're supposed to be, you know the things and the stuff. You don't. You become an eternal servant. And you realize how little you actually know. Guys, that is one of the things that you can tell about how you're growing spiritually, is when you start to realize how little you actually know. You can tell how far along someone is in their practice by what they pretend to know. And I said pretend for a reason. We all pretend to know things. And you're like, well, I do know things. You do. But as you get older and as you walk along this path, you're going to realize that you don't know shit. And the things that you thought you knew, they're going to change and they're going to shift. But I see people all the time who are experts. I consider myself an expert in a lot of things. Only because I've been around and I have the experience. Do I ever believe I know everything? Fuck no. I know people that do. And they tell people they know all of the things about this and this and this and this and this. But they don't. If you ever have somebody come across your path that tells you, I know everything there is to know about candles. I know everything there is to know about hoodoo. I know everything there is to know about Egyptian whatever. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. The world and everything in it is constantly changing. You can never, ever know everything. The sign of spiritual, mental, emotional growth is realizing how little you actually know. Just saying. So, Miss Lisa Turley. The card I drew for you is the Exile. This is strategy and trauma and loss. So, Miss Lisa, all of the strategy in the world is not going to fix the loss, honey. I know this is a little bit of a heavier single card pull, and I'm sorry, but all of the strategy, all of the planning and so on will never fix the loss, because you have to process the trauma. You have to process the loss. You have to process changing because the strategy you had did not work. It's part of growing and it's part of learning. And this right here actually means a lot of growth. So you have to process the loss. You have to process the trauma. If you just shove the trauma down in the little box, it's just going to fester. And then it's going to come out in some very, very horrible ways. Yeah. All right, Miss Kayla Baldwin. Ready? So I have Kayla, Jamie, Veronica, Deborah, Sarah, Hannah, and then I can't see further than that. I don't want to do 3. I just need 1, man. Thank you. All right. Miss Kayla. You have Jeannie the Maid, which is disillusionment. It's also humility, but it's also being the champion. This is the underdog card. Right now, love, I know you feel like everything is piling on top of you. You feel like you're not ever going to be on top. You feel like you're losing every single fucking battle, and it doesn't matter about the war. But it does matter because you are the underdog, sweet pea. Underdogs do not give up. Underdogs continue to fight and claw and scratch and kick and pull and do what they need to do. They keep moving forward through all the shit and they come out on top. You're the underdog, love. You're going to lose some battles and that's okay. It's okay. Be humble about the ones that you win and continue to walk with your chin up. Okay? All right, Miss Jamie Baldwin. Jamie Buckin, sorry. I was reading two names at once. Miss Jamie Buckin. You ready? I got to get my ass in gear because it's 7. Woo, okay. Okay. You're welcome, love. All right. Jamie, you start off with Danu, which is the mother of creation. This is, of course, creation, but it's also creativity and understanding. And then you have Pachamama, which is Mother Earth, being grounded to the here and now. Woo, okay. Then you also have the cosmic womb. Girl, there's a lot of motherly symbols here. So this is the divine feminine, the cosmic womb. So what's up with that? Because my first instinct is that there's a lot of fertility things here. A lot. I'm just going to leave that at what it is because I don't do health readings or pregnancy readings or anything like that. But let's say this. There is a massive amount of feminine power here, of motherly love, of guidance, and of grounding those around you with that feminine power. You wield a massive amount of it, sugar. You wield a massive amount of it. It's something that you feel deeply inside you. You need to let it out. You need to let it out. I'm sorry, love. Yeah, you need to let it out. I just want to show you this card because this is a beautiful, fantastic card. I'll show you guys on YouTube too. You need to own this feminine power. Seeing these cards, these amount of massive, powerful women cards here, it tells me that you've probably had all the signs and the universe has been like trying to push it on you. And you're just not paying attention for some reason. For some reason, you're not paying attention. Girl, you own the feminine power. You own the feminine power. I would suggest looking at Danu, Gaia, Pachamama, those kind of goddesses. I guarantee you there's a lot of that symbolism in your life. Use that feminine power that you have to help other people, to create things, to help them create things. Okay? You have a very, very interesting gift and an interesting talent in there, and I don't think you've even scratched the surface of it yet. In fact, I know you haven't. Look into those goddesses. I guarantee you, you're going to find where you're getting signs and symbols all the time. Okay? All right, Miss Veronica Kolarick, you ready? And I know you're probably on YouTube, aren't you, love? Those of you guys on YouTube, I can't see your comments because I've got my thing up. Sorry. You're welcome, love. If you've always wanted to help people, you should. Make that a goal. Well, Miss Veronica. Girl, you crack me up with some of your readings. You start off with the Leper King, which is bravery and self-sacrifice. It's faith, it's self-discipline, and it's moving forward. Then you have the Journey. Then you have the Crossing, which is initiation. You've had some interesting happenings around you lately. In fact, I would not be surprised to know that some of these have been so interesting that it's caused you to shift your focus in where you thought you had been headed spiritually, probably physically, emotionally, all the things. It's caused you to stop and pivot and go a different way. You are going through a massive initiation right now. Let me see if I can pull you over here on YouTube. I don't see you over there. So let me say this, Veronica. You know that that's where you belong. Where you are right now is a place where your soul belongs. Your soul feels comfortable there. It is tied to there. You're being initiated into something specific there. There's a reason that you wound up where you are right now, physically. The journey that you've undergone has all been to get you to the point of right now, to get you to this crossing. And there's a lot of interesting symbolism here with bridges. So there's a lot of very, very interesting symbolism here with bridges for you. You're not coming back this way anytime soon, my friend. I just want you to know that. So stop stressing about it. Stop stressing about it, Veronica, okay? Just keep going forward. Cross the bridge. It'll be okay. The universe has got you, I promise. All right. I have Miss Deborah Westwood. Then Sarah Boggs, Hannah Cresswell, Corey Johnson, Andrea Benz. All right, let me refresh and make sure I've got everybody. Because I have got to hurry up and get off here so I have time to pee before I have to take you guys on a tour. I don't have to. I want to. I'm excited. I'm excited. Now it's just going to take forever. Coolsies. Means I can shove another chip in my face. Alrighty then. Jennifer Goodway, then Jennifer Smith. You are my last one. So I'm pretty sure that everything is sold out. So, all right, Miss Deborah. Here we go, love. You ready? How are you? Hey, Miss Mondragon. Yes, I have. You were one of my very first ones up there on the top. So if you will go on YouTube, then you can hear that. Woo. Okay. Calm down. Deborah, you're throwing cards at me. All right, girl, here we go. So you have the Martyr, which is honesty and shame and retribution. Now, I kind of said shame the way I did because that really doesn't have a lot to do with this reading. Honesty is the main thing that has to do with this reading, okay? Then you have Pachamama upside down. This is the card that fell off the table in my lap and then fell over in my lap too. It was very weird. I was kind of like, are you going to stop? Are you going to stop? Thank you, love. This is Pachamama upside down. Then you have the jeweled web, which is interconnectivity. It's okay to not be grounded. It's okay. Everybody has to go through these phases sometimes where you're just not grounded, period. You're not grounded. We have to experience that period of not being grounded, of floating, of being honest with ourselves, of where we are in our path, and just to be in a free fall for a moment, to see all the interconnectivity around us. It's like being in those movies where someone starts to fall and then after a while they're still falling, they never hit the ground, and they start to look around and you see all of these beautiful things just floating around you. It's exactly where you are right now. All you have to do is look around. Even while you're crazy busy, even while you're in free fall, all you have to do is look around. I'm so glad to hear you've been going with the flow. I'm glad to hear that. It's okay to not be grounded. Don't stress about calming things down right now. Don't stress about being grounded. So, just look around. You're going to see so many amazing interconnections between everything. There's a reason you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off right now. There's a reason. Don't let you being busy be a point of contention for you. Okay? Yeah. Don't let it be a point of contention. We all get crazy busy because we have to. So, I'm so glad to hear you haven't stressed about anything. I have a feeling that you're going to probably explode into seeing interconnectivity after this. I don't think you have a choice. I don't think you have a choice. So I'm glad to hear that you haven't stressed about anything at all lately, my friend. All right, Miss Sarah Boggs. I've got you for 2 cards, my friend. Oh, I'm glad, love. Thank you. No, it's this one. Gotcha. My list is full for tonight, guys. I do have some interesting things coming up for those of you guys just joining, or if you didn't hear the announcement to begin with. Friday night, tomorrow, of course, is Reiki from Vegas. But Friday night, I added in mini past life readings. If you guys want to get one, you better do it quick because I did not put a lot of tickets on there because they wear me out, and I've got an event all day Saturday. But a little birdie told me that a lot of you guys have been asking for them. Next Friday, the 23rd, I put in starseed origin readings. You don't need to know the time you were born. Okay? Just your birthday and the place you were born. That's all I need to know. Because I'm going to go through and look at numbers. I'm not looking at transits. I'm not looking at placements. I'm not looking at any of that. I'm looking at numbers in your chart. So, all right. You ready, Miss Sarah Boggs? So you start off with the thinker. Okay? This is the father of knowledge. I love the card, by the way, too. I mean, he's just really cool. This is wisdom. It's knowledge. But what's funny is this word right down here on the corner, and you'll see why I think it's funny. This is reinvention. Sometimes when we get enough knowledge, we realize that we have to reinvent the way we are, the way we think, and where we're going. And I have a feeling that you've had this really deep, intense, restless need to change. You just don't know what to change. So here's what's funny. Here's why I said it's funny. This is the horseman, which is the herald of change. The change that needs to happen is not for me to tell you. It's not for you to know yet. I have a feeling that this is something your soul has to figure out in this life. It's part of your path. It's part of why you're here. But this is confirmation that yes, you have to make a humongous shift. You have to reinvent Sarah. You have to reinvent Sarah. In fact, I don't even feel like Sarah is the right name. Does that make sense? I don't even feel like Sarah is the right name. Love, you're fixing to have the universe put you through a major shift, a major growth period, and a major pivot point of completely doing a right turn. And I'm excited for you because these two cards right here together, I'm excited for you. It's going to be scary as fuck at first. I'm not going to lie, but I'm excited for you. Don't stress too hard about what the change needs to be because the universe is just going basically to tell you. The universe is going to put you there. So enjoy the buildup, enjoy the change, enjoy the pivot, and enjoy the new you that comes out of it. Okay? So enjoy the ride, Miss Sarah. I'm excited. I'm always excited when I see that somebody's fixing to go through a change like that. Of course, then again, at the same time, I'm like, man, why can't I know? Why can't I know so I can tell you? But it's because I will tell you if I know. All right, Miss Hannah, you ready? Yours is a little different, Miss Hannah. It's good to see your face, Miss Sarah Lou. Well, your TikTok face profile. All right, Miss Hannah, you have the ageless, which is healing. That's the main thing that has to happen right now. There's other things that this is. It's acceptance. It's graciousness. It's giving things away. But healing is the main thing. And here's why. Because this is the eagle. And I do want you to notice how similar he looks to an eagle. Do you see what I mean? So, Miss Hannah, all of the things that you've gone through, all of the trauma, all of the baggage that you carry, you know, that luggage cart that you drag behind you back there, everything that you've gone through up to now has forged you into a steel rod. You took all of this trauma, you took all of this pain, you took all of these things. Thank you, Miss Sarah. You took all of these things. Your soul signed up to get past them. And you did it like a fucking champ, man. You did it like a fucking champ. You need to go back through and process some of these things. And it's not so much healing and processing the trauma itself. It's accepting and seeing why and where those things caused you to become a forged steel rod that will not break. Love, as you get older, this rod that you have become is to help other people who have been through what you've been through. You've gone through all of that to help guide others to become that steel rod for people that don't understand how to become the steel rod. They are still molten metal in the fire, in the forge. They don't understand how to go forward. You're going to become that guide for them. So start looking through and accepting that you are an amazingly strong person. It's okay to not be okay. It's also okay to admit, oh my God, I survived all of these things and I've lived through all of these things and I am so much stronger for it. Okay? Does that help, love? All right. Corey Johnson, are you ready? So I have Corey, Andrea, Jennifer Goodway, and Jessica Smith. And then I'm going to go real quick, and I'll see you guys right back here at 8 for a tour of the El Rancho. Those of you guys on YouTube are going to get the tour from my son, Brody. Well, I mean, you'll get the tour from me. He's going to walk you around. So, I'm so glad. All right, Corey. As I have a mouthful. I'm sorry. You have the Prince, which is the forgotten adversary. This is sorrow, lost valor, and acceptance. So, it's also a fair dose of serendipity. Everything happens for a reason, Corey. So with all of this sorrow and with this loss, and I said loss instead of lost valor because I think that you've already been through the lost valor part. You've already felt the pain of the loss. Now it's just the loss. Does that make sense? With this, there's going to come a time when you're going to see why this happened the way it happened. I think you're already starting to. But you haven't seen the full picture yet. You haven't seen how fantabulous this thing being removed from your life actually is and was and will continue to be. So we all go through things like this where the universe yanks things from us and we're like, that was my favorite toy. And we mourn that loss. I mean, we throw a toddler fit and we mourn that loss. And then later we look back and we go, man, if I still had that person, that job, that house, that car, that dog, that whatever it was, it's usually a person. If I still had that, I wouldn't be with this person. I wouldn't have this job. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be there. And we start to see where that serendipity is, where all those things happened for a reason. Now, don't get me wrong. It sucks and it's stupid to go through the lost part. But on the other end, when you look back, that loss is one of the best things that could have ever happened to you. You hear people all the time say, oh my God, you dodged a bullet. That's exactly how you're going to look back on these things and realize that you dodged a major bullet, even though at the time you were devastated. Does that make sense, Corey? All right. Miss Andrea, how's your mom, sweet pea? You're welcome, Corey. Miss Andrea. Oh, see you in a little bit, Lisa. You have Jeannie the maid. Jeannie is humility and disillusionment, but it's also that underdog card, that champion. She's still waiting. Oh my God. I thought that was going to be today. Good Lord. This right here has to do with what you're going through right now job-wise. It has to do what you're going through right now. Holy shit, girl. It has to do with moving forward. I know right now you feel like there have been little bitty battles that you've been losing. And I know that you probably heard me talk about this card specifically a little bit ago. Just because there are tiny battles that you have lost does not mean that you're losing the war. It simply means that it's pulling that underdog fight out in you. The underdog fight tends to get trampled down and it tends to get replaced with, okay, fine, I don't want to do it anymore then. Until suddenly that underdog rises up and we become that champion in the end. course, you have to have the push and the need and the drive and the will to become that champion. And that's kind of where you are right now. You have to pull that champion underdog out of your butt and let it grow. Because I think that you've lost so many battles that it's got you kind of beat down in a way. I know it's got you beat down in a way. Pulling that out is going to be a night and day difference for where you go. And it's funny, but for some reason, you're welcome, Miss Devs. For some reason, you're the second person tonight that I feel like I need to say, take the weekend and recoup. Take the weekend and breathe. Take the weekend and just look around and enjoy where you are. Unplug. Unplug. Okay? So, I hope that helps, Miss Andrea. All right, Miss Jennifer Goodway, you ready? Back to work for you tomorrow. Maybe that's exactly the unplugging you need. Wow, I didn't even have to shuffle, and it was like... Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Hayden. Sometimes being back at work and being in the thick of everything, we tend to forget about all those other things. I know you guys on YouTube are like, why is she doing that face? I love the little tiny heart. It's so cute. Thank you, Miss Andrea. All right, Jennifer, you ready? So you start off with Hades, which is equality and inevitability and wisdom. Then you have the child. You're welcome, sweetheart. And then you have the eye of the needle, which is intentionality. You also have 2 sevens here. So here's the part where I smack your hand, Jennifer. Girl, you already know what you're supposed to be doing. You already know your path. You already, like, the universe is like, here's all of these signs. Here's every single sign you could want to do this. And for some reason, you're like, not going to do it. I'm not doing it. You have to start acting with intentionality. You have to start being set on your intention and where you're going from here and why you're going there. The universe has been trying to pull you back to something that you're literally an expert in. You're an expert in. You have this natural raw talent for it. And I don't know if it's that you're burnt out on doing it or whatever, but you need to look at it the same way that your inner child looks at it. When you first started doing this thing, how did you look at it? I am sure that it was full of all this excitement and you had this plan and you were going to do all of these things at the same time and you couldn't get enough of it. You need to get that feeling back again. Sometimes it means that you need to pivot and look at things in a different, unique way. Girl, you know exactly what you need to be doing right now. The universe has literally been pulling you that way. And there are eyes in all of these things. So what I want you to do, Miss Jennifer, is I want you to go on Google and I want you to look up what the meaning of the eye is, what the spiritual meaning of an eye is. I would bet you've probably been seeing eyes everywhere and noticing eyes everywhere as well. I could tell you, but it won't be the same thing. I see them everywhere too. There's your homework. You know your homework. So look up the meaning and start doing the thing. Start doing the things. Like, the universe is not going to let you not do the things. It's just not. Reinvent how to go about this expertise and this thing that you are so amazing in. Reinvent it. And that's where your success lies, Miss Jen. You're so welcome. So that brings me to Miss Jessica Smith, who is my last one. Miss Jessica, This is the medicine wheel. This right here tells me that you are at a point in your life where things have come full circle. First of all, when we get done with this, I want you to look up what the medicine wheel stands for, because it will mean more you reading it and feeling that gut feeling. When I tell you guys to look something up, the majority of the time I know the meaning behind it, especially if it's on one of my cards. I know the meaning behind it. However, you guys all know that feeling when you look something up and it resonates with you so hardcore, you get the chills. That's what I want you to have. So I want you to look this up. Okay? What this tells me is that you are at a point in your life right now where things have come full circle. You know how to connect to all the elements. You know how to connect to all the directions. You know how to connect to everything. Right now, all you have to do is open up slightly, and the universe is going to bombard you with all the connections. The medicine wheel itself also talks about healing and moving forward from where you've been in the past. And I think that's fantastic. So this is kind of an acknowledgement that the universe sees all of the things that you've been doing to heal yourself, all of the work you've been putting in. So I'm going to say congratulations for that. The universe's reward for that healing is this massive dose of connectivity. And I know people are like, well, how do I open up? It's actually way easier than everybody makes it this hard thing. It's not. It's literally taking a breath and looking around. You're going to see interconnectivities and connections all around you. All around you. Simply take a deep breath, center yourself, look. Just look. Okay? Oh, well, I hope they're good tears. You guys can't tell me that it's tears and then not tell me it's good tears. Because then I'm like, oh, God, I made you cry. So, that being said, let me pause here on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys here shortly for